What's up, everyone? Game 62, as producer Liam just mentioned to me. Tyler and Caroline here on the Giant pregame show presented by Sherwood Ford, and we're an hour away from game time, Tyler.
Yeah, it's a little matinee action for the Edmonton Oilers. Game 62, so that means there's what, like 20 left in the year?
I know, it's crazy. What are we going to do when it's... No, we're going to go to the playoffs, so we're good.
We'll have some playoff shows to get done.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Okay, recapping the game against the Sabres. A nice 6-1 win for the Edmonton Oilers. Goal scored by Barrie, McDavid, Yamamoto, Draisaitl, Nurse, and Shore. It's a nice lineup there we got.
Yeah, I was going to say, you really, we touched a lot of bases. Some offense from the defense, a power play marker mixed in there, the bottom six, a shorty. That was a really solid game. And I think just comparing it to the game against Detroit, where we sat here and said, you can't keep letting bad teams stay in games. It was nice to see the Oilers kind of put their foot down, pedal to the floor, and roll over the Sabres the way they did. That game was never really in doubt, in my opinion. The Oilers were far and away the better team in that hockey game.
Love to hear it. And, it's so funny because a couple pregame shows ago, we were saying that we weren't too sure about Devon Shore centering that third line. And I don't think we were the only ones feeling that way.
No.
But, NHL Sid tweeted out the other night saying, has Jay Woodcroft fixed Devon Shore? And is Devon Shore another product and another example of the Woodcroft era and a player who's really come out of his shell since Woodcroft has joined the Oilers?
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point to be making. Shore's been playing some good hockey, and he's been productive as well. That third line in general with Shore, Fogle, and Derek Ryan, they played 7 minutes and 39 seconds at 5-on-5 in the game against Buffalo. Shot attempts were 6-0. Shots were 5-0. And the other crazy part about that, shots were 5-0. They didn't start a single shift in the offensive zone. They started 10 times. 6 were in the defensive end, 4 were in the neutral zone. So they were starting kind of behind the 8 ball every shift and found a way to sort of flip momentum around and get scoring chances the other way without giving anything up. And I just think that was incredibly impressive. They were the only Oilers trio that played more than 2 minutes together that outshot the Sabres at 5-on-5. Sorry, no, the top line did as well. But still, the top line and the third line were really buzzing. That was just a really good game from that group. And hopefully they can keep it rolling here because Shore's playing some important minutes while Nugent Hopkins is out of the lineup. And it starts to kind of get you thinking, okay, well, what do you do now when Nuge is back? Do you break up this trio? Is Devon Shore a guy that can be on the fourth line giving you a spark of offense? It's been great to see.
Well, 2 goals in 2 games for Devon Shore, so we'll see if he can keep the streak going tonight. But right now, I really want to talk about Kailer Yamamoto. 7 points in his last 4 games, and he has scored in each of these 4 games. And we exactly what we said a couple pregame shows. Again, the start of his season to where he is now, it's night and day. And this is a very impressive streak for our little Yam Fry, as Oilers Nation likes to call him.
Yeah, 15 goals in 60 games, and it's a long way from the guy who didn't have a shot on goal in 7 games earlier in the season. And I was one of the people clamoring for him to kind of just be stapled to the bottom 6, but the Oilers stuck with it. He kept getting opportunity, and it's great to see him finally taking advantage of that. 15 goals in 60 games, that's pretty much a 20-goal pace now. Like you said, 4 straight games with a goal, 3 straight multi-point games for Kailer Yamamoto as well. He's been playing some really good hockey, and the thing you like about him is whether he's scoring, whether he's not, he's still forechecking, he's still creating turnovers, he's still doing all those, he still brings all those hard-working aspects to the ice. So it's been great to see from Yamamoto.
Our captain, the best player in the world, one of the ride or die boys, Connor McDavid, 8 points in his last 4 games, 5 goals in his last 4 as well. Connor McDavid, like we all know, is turning it up a notch and really becoming a guy that is helping this Oilers team solidify that playoff position. 8
multi-point games in his last 11 games. I'm just looking at that because I have it written down and then I almost don't believe it. But literally 4 straight multi-point games. And then he had one against Chicago, Philly, Florida, and Tampa as well. 8 times in his last 11 games, he's put up 2 points. That's insane. Connor McDavid's a guy who in the past we've seen him go on these long heaters down the stretch where it's the last 25, 30 games of the year, and he finds a way to just click it into high gear, find another level, and he's doing that right now. And if he keeps it going, he's definitely going to be right back in the mix for that Hart Trophy conversation, because this run he's on is unreal. Like, he had 2 points against Buffalo. He only played 16 minutes. Like, he didn't even see the ice that much. Part of it was he got high sticked again, and he was pretty pissed off about it. And that was funny to see. But yeah, McDavid's on a heater right now.
Love to see it. And we talked a little bit about the blue liners. Darnell Nurse, Tyson Barrie getting on the score sheet. Nurse scoring for the first time since February 19th, and Barrie scoring for the first time since November 20th. So nice to see those guys getting into the action, because we need that right now, especially where we are in the season, and hopefully making that playoff spot.
Yeah, and it was great to see Barry's goal as well. It was assisted by Foegele, a guy who I've been kind of waiting to see get going offensively for a while. Yeah, like we kind of said off the top, every facet of the lineup found a way to contribute, and the power play too, right? Like we're really itching for the power play to get going. They end the game 1-for-3. They had a bunch of chances on that first opportunity. The second one, I didn't think was as strong, but still, hopefully the power play can really start going and clicking along here, because that'll help as the schedule gets tougher.
Awesome. And I have a comment here in the Facebook chat from Jason. So happy you're an Oilers fan now, Caroline. So nice. And I will say this, Oilers Nation, you guys are the reason why it was so easy to fall in love with the team, because the online community is so nice and welcoming and honest to God hilarious that it was very easy to jump on board. With that being said, my heart's still, silently hoping the Leafs do very, very well. Not if they play the Oilers, don't worry. But I appreciate you guys so much, and go Oilers, go. Let's talk about Mike Smith right now, Tyler. Yep. 27 saves on the night, and I was so interested to see what Oilers Nation thought about this after Mike Smith's performance. And obviously they were happy for the win, but not overly impressed, because they said they want to see Mike Smith between the pipes have a solid game against a team that is much better than the Buffalo Sabres. Yep. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I'm kind of in that boat as well. It was a good game from Mike Smith. Anytime a goalie only allows one, you're not going to be, not impressed with that. It was good, but I need to see more from Mike Smith. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he's back, or, oh, he's going to be capable of giving him good starts down the stretch. I'm not going to say that until we see that kind of performance 2 or 3 or even 4 games in a row for Mike Smith. And, he's going to get put in. He's not starting tonight. They're going back to Mikko Koskinen. He's going to get one of those 2 games against Dallas or Colorado to start next week. And that'll be a big test for me, because, again, against Buffalo, he stopped the one breakaway. I can't even really think of another time where he would have been really, really tested and sort of made a save that maybe he shouldn't have. So he was good, but the team in front of him played really strong as well. I need to see more from Mike Smith before I'm willing to sit here and say he's back or anything crazy like that.
All right. Let's talk about today's game, guys, because it's game day, and here's our opposition report presented by the delicious Yag Burger. Obviously, the boys are on home ice taking on the New Jersey Devils, who have a 22-34-5 record. They lost their last 2 games against the Canucks and the Flames, sitting very close to the bottom of the Metro Division. So, Tyler, another great opportunity for the boys to now win 5 in a row.
Yeah, it is. And when we looked at this homestand, I think everyone would have been happy with a 4-1 record, right, for the 5-game homestand. But now that you're at 4-0, you really want to make it that 5-game run. So we'll see what they can do tonight. New Jersey's a pretty average group. There's nothing there that really stands out. Granted, they beat the Oilers a couple of months ago in overtime, but that was a game where Mike Smith didn't play very well. So I'm kind of looking for this to be similar to the Tampa Bay game, where if the Oilers bring it and the goaltending is solid as well, they should have no problems here. New Jersey's coming off back-to-back losses. They've been outscored 13-5 at 5-on-5, 13-7 at 5-on-5 in their last few games here in their last 4. So it's not a team that can bring a ton of offense. The big problem for them has been between the pipes. I think they're going with Nico Dawes tonight. He's gotten the first 2 starts of the road trip at least, but he's allowed 4 goals in each of those games. The Oilers offense is humming along right now. Devils struggle to prevent goals. This should be, if the Oilers, again, bring their game like they did against Buffalo, not only should they win, but this game shouldn't really be in doubt for much of the 60 minutes. Yeah,
that's what Tyler's trying to say, guys. A blowout. All right, what are the lines for the New Jersey Devils, and a couple guys maybe that the Oilers need to look out for?
Yeah, I mean, the one guy that you definitely need to keep an eye on is Jack Hughes. This is a guy who had the OT winner the last time these 2 teams met. He's 1 goal shy of 20 on the season. He's got 6 points in his last 5 games. He plays on the top line with Yegor Sharangovich and Jesper Bratt. Jesper Bratt, I think he might be the most underrated player in the NHL. This guy is going to need a new deal right away in New Jersey, and he is going to get paid. He is very good. Nico Hischier on the second line with Dawson Mercer and Thomas Tatar. Jesper Boqvist with Nathan Bastian and Jimmy Vesey. Michael McLeod, brother of Ryan, with Nathan Bastian. Oh, wow, they have Nathan Bastian listed twice. And Mason Geertsen. The reason I'm confused reading these lines is because Devils head coach Lindy Ruff doesn't even know what's going on. He said earlier today that he doesn't think the Devils are going to have enough healthy forwards for the game. So Mason Geertsen, local product, he's been playing forward for them even though he's a defenseman, and that still only brings them up to 10 forwards at that point because Bastian's counted twice. So it's going to be an interesting one here for the New Jersey Devils. They are not very healthy right now. On the blue line, they got Ryan Graves and Damon Severson, Jonas Siegenthaler and Dougie Hamilton, and Ty Smith on the third pair with PK Subban. Look for Jay Woodcroft to try get the top six out against that Ty Smith PK Subban duo as much as they can. That's a couple of guys who have struggled in their own end. And again, the starting goalie, we don't know for sure. It could be Nico Daws. Even if it's not Nico Daws, then it's probably John Gillies. Either way, like VIP Yash pointed out in the chat, this is AHL level goaltending you're getting from the New Jersey Devils. The Oilers got to take advantage of that.
And how about for the Edmonton Oilers? Any changes to our lines?
Not really expecting too much, actually. It should be pretty much the same group going out again in this hockey game. McDavid with Kane and Yamamoto. McDavid and Yamamoto combined for 9 goals in their last 5. Draisaitl with Hyman and Puljujarvi. I thought Puljujarvi didn't look great coming back in his first game back.
You weren't impressed with him.
No, but I mean, first game back from injury, you're willing to write that off a little bit. It's a guy getting up to speed. I'm looking for Puljujarvi to bring it a little bit more tonight. And yes, Scotteroni, I do like the Jesse Puljujarvi shot prop. Devin Shore, 3 goals in his last 5 with Derek Ryan and Warren Fogle. Ryan McLeod with Josh Archibald and Zach Cassian. That trio at 5-on-5 didn't get a ton of ice time in the last game. 554 at 5-on-5, that's pretty low. I'd like to see Jay Woodcroft get them a little bit more involved in this hockey game. On the blue line, same old. Nurse with Cece, Keith with Bouchard, Russell with Barry, and of course the big Finn, Mikko Koskinen, gets the start between the pipes.
Big Meeks, what's going on in your chat?
OJ Gaze, do we have a timeline for the return of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? And I think they're kind of taking it more on a day-by-day basis right now. I would say, if I did kind of pin it, I'd say doubtful for Colorado, Dallas, but I would assume he's playing against either San Jose or Calgary next week. Clicking through here, talking about Mike Smith, someone said, he didn't stop enough hard chances that Buffalo didn't get. I mean, like I said, and that was from Mike, I'm not discounting the performance Mike Smith had because he stopped most of the pucks that he was supposed to, but I'm not willing to sit here and be like, that was a grade A game. They should start Smith again because he gave up 1 goal to the Sabres. Like, it was giving up 1 goal to the Sabres. It's not that difficult to do is my point.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
What else we got here?
I got one from Tori Buck saying, Oilers need to continue to capitalize on little mistakes the opposition makes and we'll be okay.
Mike Yegg, trade Shore for 2 firsts and 2 prospects. Yeah, get the Brandon Hagel return for Devin Shore. Sell him while he's hot. This is also going to be our last trade or show before the trade deadline, which comes on Monday. Trade deadline day, Daily Faceoff live show. I'll be sitting right here, 3.5 hours with Frank Saravalli, Mike McKenna, Pete Blackburn, Chris Gear, Chris Peters, our whole cast of analysts and insiders at Daily Faceoff. Live 3.5 hours on the Daily Faceoff YouTube. Check that out. And then once that's done, we are going to have a pregame show, but it's probably going to come in around 2 o'clock Mountain, I think. But deadline day, it's going to be a wild one around the nation.
And quickly, before we go to our bet of the game, Jason said, what about rumors of Subban going to Edmonton? Any other trade rumors out there? Or is Holland standing? I don't know what that means. Or is he just chilling?
Yeah, I talked about this a little bit. We had a big conversation about it on my Wednesday live show, and the idea of would you flip Barry for Subban at 50% retained? The 50% retained basically would make it where the salaries are even. Edmonton gets a guy who, I'd say similar quality to Tyson Barrie. It's not like PK Subban would be a massive upgrade, but his contract's up at the end of the year. So you'd have that cap space in the summer for New Jersey. Maybe they get a young puck moving D-man that can grow along some of their young pieces there, and they would have Barrie under contract for a few seasons. I think there might be a little bit of something there. Edmonton probably has to add a bit of a sweetener at that point. We're talking a mid to late round pick. We'll see if that's something New Jersey's interested in. I think Edmonton would be if there's the option for a Subban for Barrie swap.
Well, Yeah, don't get me started. Okay, let's get to our bet of the game presented by PointsBet. Who you got, Tyler?
Yeah, the Oilers are big favorites in this hockey game as well. Minus 230 on the money line. If you like them in regulation, it's minus 145. Plus 105 on the puck line. The Oilers team total is set at 4 and paying out minus 105. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind taking the Oilers minus 2.5 goals at plus 195. I think that's actually a pretty interesting spot. I like the chances of them just continuing to roll in this hockey game. We mentioned McDavid, 4 straight multi-point games. If you like him to go over 1.5, it's minus 115. Kyler Yamamoto, also, like we said, he's on a nice little run of multi-point games. He's up at that plus 450 range.
Ooh, that's what I
to
would
do it again.
today.
You think Yam Fry stays hot?
Yeah, I'm going to put my money on little Yam Fry.
I'm going to go with the Jesse Puljujarvi shot prop in this hockey game like we touched on earlier. He had one shot in his return to the lineup against Buffalo, but he had a ton of opportunities with the puck in the middle of the ice, and he just didn't find a way to execute them. I think in this game, he'll be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit back up to speed, and I think he'll have the itch to find the back of the net. So I like Puljujarvi going over 2.5 shots, and I think I like McDavid going over 1.5 as well. Draisaitl over 1.5 is plus 110, so if you want to get a little bit of a better payout, you could take 29 to grab 2 or more points tonight. There's a lot of spots I like in this game. I think the Oilers are going to keep rolling.
Awesome stuff. What's going on in your chat before we get ready for our game, which is about 40 minutes away now?
Does McDavid win the Art Ross? That's actually an interesting question. It's going to be a bit of a race for Connor McDavid. This last little heater has helped out. He's in first with 87 points. Jonathan Huberdeau's in second with 86. Leon Draisaitl with 84. No one else has 80 points on the season. So he's got a shot. I'd say it's better than 50-50 as well, just because you know how good he's been down the stretch in previous years. So I would say McDavid does win the Art Ross this year. The other big trophy race that we'll be keeping an eye on is Leon Draisaitl trying to track down Austin Matthews for the Rocket Richard. Draisaitl was able to make up a little bit of ground with Matthews' suspension, but he's still 5 back of the Maple Leaf superstar. I don't think he does it.
Sorry, guys. I know that, I'm here in Edmonton, and I've come on board of the Oilers, but Austin Matthews, man, he's winning that. It's his. This guy, every single time the Leafs play, this guy somehow finds a way on the score sheet.
Yeah, and the Leafs and Oilers have played the same amount of games coming into today, so it's not like Draisaitl's going to have a couple opportunities to make up that gap. I think Matthews holds on to the Rocket. I think McDavid wins the Art Ross. The Hart Trophy, I think, is honestly going to be... you can't even
what's your answer?
You can't even call it a coin flip right now because I think Shesterkin's a great candidate. I think Matthews is in the conversation. I think McDavid should be in the conversation by the end of the year. Huberdeau's another option. There's legitimately 4 or 5 really good candidates right now in the NHL. So the Hart Trophy is it's definitely still up for grabs.
Patty Murphy in the Facebook chat. Love to see Pool Party have a bust-out game, and Hyman was a beast last game. We got Tori also sending a bunch of little...
Emojis?
Yams?
Oh, Yam emojis, yes.
Yeah, Yam emojis.
Support to Kyler Yamamoto.
Yam emojis.
Yam emojis. I like that.
I actually really like that.
Whenever he scores, they do this thing on the scoreboard in Rogers where they fill it up with yams.
I love that.
And then it has his number in the
Yam
middle and all that.
emoji.
It's funny.
Oh my, I only want to call him a Yam emoji now. And when I talk about him, I'm only going to put the Yam emoji. All right, Tyler, put that on a t-shirt. Okay, guys, well, that's it for your Giant pregame show presented by Sherwood Ford. We're close to puck drop. It's going to be another good one here in Edmonton, and we'll see you next week. Lots going on next week.
Yeah, lots going on. We're going to have a ton of trade deadline coverage. It's going to be the Oodle Noodle War Room as well. But until then, enjoy your Saturday night. How about this for a Saturday play? Afternoon game, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Great times. Have a couple Nation beers. Hop on DoorDash. Order in some delicious Yegg burger. Bang. Dinner's taken care of. Rest of the night, it's a breeze. Let's go. Enjoy your Saturday.
I think I would want to try that poutine burger. Is that what's happening? Or the mac and cheese?
Poutine burger. Kit Kat milkshake.
Okay,
it's an elite combo. That's a McDavid Draisaitl combo of burger milkshake.
All right. See you next week. Bye, everyone.